What we need to remember is that anything we put out into the internet is public. And once it's public. I feel so odd and awkward. Like, why am I trying to, advertise myself? That's a weird thing to do. But this book helped me realize that. Hey guys, what's up? And welcome back to Mental Fitness with Neha, the workout for your mind. In this episode, we're going to be looking at the book Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. Essentially, as artists or creators, one of the most challenging things is to put your work out there and actually be discovered, to actually be found. But what Austin Kleon says is that in order to be found, you have to be findable. But there's a lot of people who hate the idea of self promotion, like putting your own work out there seems very show offy. What this book covers is how do you share your process in a way that actually attracts the people who are interested in what you do to you. It's simply about making yourself discoverable while you continue to practice your craft and getting better at what you do. The first thing that the book says is that you don't have to be a genius. This book talks about the lone genius myth that we have about creativity, where when you think of a creator or an artist, you think someone in a studio toiling away, fully isolated from the world, etc. Essentially, we think of creativity as an antisocial act. What this book encourages instead is the idea of a genius. According to this model of genius, great ideas are often birthed in collaboration by a group of individuals working together. The good thing about the genius model is that it doesn't isolate majority of the population who doesn't think of themselves as geniuses. What it says is that being a valuable member of a genius is not about how smart you are or about how talented you are. It's about the ideas you share, the quality of connections you make, and how you contribute. Essentially, the idea is that we need to stop feeling bad for ourselves, that we're not some genius and creativity doesn't flow for us. Instead, we ask the question, what can we do for others? And that is where your creativity lies. Obviously, we live in a day and age where it's easier than ever to join a genius. Discussion boards, forums, blogs, social media sites are all virtual places of collaborations where people come together and share their ideas. Another thing we're really terrified of as creatives is to be seen as amateurs, to be seen as starting small. The truth, however, is that someone who's pursuing something that they like doing just for the love of it, for the sake of it, not because of money, fame, career, or any other such thing, has an advantage over someone who's a professional. Because as amateurs, we're not afraid to make mistakes or look stupid in public. The book says that while you can go from being mediocre to being good in increments, the real gap lies between doing nothing and doing something. So amateurs realize that doing something is better than doing absolutely nothing. Please share what you love, and the people who love the same things will find you. Another thing that the book says that is you can't find your voice if you don't use it. It's something that's hardwired and already built into you. So you talk about the things you love, share your ideas, and your voice will follow. Today, all of us have the opportunity to voice our opinions, to share ideas, to use our voice, but a lot of us waste it. Bottom line is that if you want people to know about the things you do and about the things you care about, you have to share. Another thing that Austin Kleon suggests that we do is read obituaries. That's a bit of an odd concept to think about, but we've all heard the story where a near-death experience has changed someone's life because they started realizing the value of their life. But for example, when George Lucas was a teenager, he had a near-death experience, and after that, he saw each day as an extra day that he was getting to live and went on to direct Star Wars. So now, obviously, having a near-death experience is not the best idea to evoke this motivation in you. A better way is to read obituaries because that's a way that you realize that you are gonna die, but is keeping death at a distance. Right, the next big idea that the book advocates is think process, not product. The book says that you should take people behind the scenes of what you do because often what as audience what we see is the final product, the outcome. For example, this video is the final outcome that you're seeing. What you're not seeing is weird setup I've got going on here, the way the laptop is placed on a chair so I can see my script and the amount of let's take a painter for example. There's a distinction between the painter's process and the product, the final outcome of the process. Traditionally, artists have been trained to see the creative process as something which should be kept to themselves and not shown to the world. But this was only relevant in the pre-digital age because when there was no internet, the only way you interact with your audience is when you write that final book or in that final gallery show which you host as a painter. But today, thanks to social media, you can literally share every part of your process with your audience. In fact, what happens is when you share your day-to-day process, you're behind the scenes, you're humanizing yourself and you're creating a more genuine bond with your audience. In fact, even Gary Vee says this a lot, that you document instead of creating. Share something small every single day. It doesn't have to be a big majorly curated product. That's the idea. It's not refined. It's Something small that's a very natural part of your process that you're sharing with your audience to create a deeper connection, and you're showing your work. If you're just thinking about ideas for your next project right now, share your inspirations. If you're in the middle of work, share the works in progress. If you're at the end of it, then just share how you're feeling. However, it's very important to keep in mind that your work which you're sharing should pass the so what test. Now, what is the so what test? What we need to remember is that anything we put out into the internet is public. And once it's public. There's a huge difference between sharing and oversharing. So when you're sharing, it's like because you think it'll be entertaining or helpful to someone on the other side of the screen. But oversharing is not a good idea. So before you share something, make sure you run it through the so what test. If you share it, so what? Is it helpful? Is it entertaining? Is it something you're comfortable with everyone seeing? And then you share it. The next thing Austin Kleon says is that you should build your own space on the internet. So the thing is with social media, YouTube, Instagram, all of these are not yours. They're borrowed spaces on the internet. If you're really interested in sharing your work and expressing yourself, have an online space that no one can take away from you. This is essentially your own website or your own blog. In fact, Austin Kleon says that if there's one thing that you take out of this book is that right now go and register your own domain name. A lot of people think that having your own website is very self-centered, but the thing is it's not about self-promotion. It's actually self-invention and self-creation. Online, when you're sharing your work, you're literally just expressing yourself and finding who you are. Fill up your online space with ideas and things that you care about. You're only literally expressing yourself and finding yourself. Don't think of it that you're bragging or anything like that. One of the biggest problems I face, honestly, is self-promotion and putting my work out there. Like, for example, on my Instagram stories, I often put up like, okay, new YouTube video out, go check it out, guys. But I feel so odd and awkward. Like, why am I trying to, advertise myself? That's weird thing to do. But this book helped me realize that it's unless I show my work and let people know that this exists, how will they ever find out? And I think everyone goes through this, but yeah, just sharing. Next thing the book talks about is tell good stories. One of the biggest myths that we have as artists is that your work would speak for itself. Imagine this. Let's say I give you a cake. I say I bought it from the supermarket. Wouldn't that change how you see that cake versus if I say that I got it from a fancy restaurant from this chef who's like won MasterChef Australia? The story behind an object massively changes how people view it and what they think about it. They add a lot of subjective value to an object. Human beings want to know where things came from, how they were made, who made them. So the story you tell about the work you do will have a huge effect on how people see your work and what they feel about it. So if you actually want to get better at showing your work, you need to know what a good story is and how to tell one. You need to become a good storyteller. Okay, that's it for this video, guys. I'm going to break this book up into 2 episodes and the second part will be in the next video. So stay tuned for that. But I really hope this video added value to you, that you liked it, and you will start showing your work as an artist, as a creator, as whatever you do. Because unless you show your work and put yourself out there, no one will ever know that your work exists. That is the biggest thing that this book says. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.